Going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Good to be with you all yet again. My name is Neal Rule. This guy over here, DMac, Darren McCarty, that guy sitting on the chair today, holding it down. Of course, that is Joique Bell. And again, we are happy to be with you all here on the YouTube channel, social media channels, wherever you're consuming Big D Energy and Woodward Sports Network. First off, thank you. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Remember, available on radio as well, 93.5 The Roar, 99.1 FM, and 94.7 WCSX HD2. In your car if you're bumping around town. Boys, what it do? Joique, what's popping, man?
What up, though? I like this new seat. I like it's comfortable. I can get into it. I feel more at home.
Do you really?
Yeah, it feels good. I'm able to
Yeah,
see.
because it's like a home chair.
Yeah, it's a home chair. But the thing is, so the reason we did this is because if you look behind Neal and DMac, we wanted to get that extraordinary view of that board in back of them. We wanted to make sure you guys can see every player from the bottom all the way.
I can't reach you.
All
Joique.
the way up to the tippy top. All the way up to the tippy top. You know. So that's probably why I'm in the chair, and we're gonna do it for the day. See how it is. See how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. DMac, what you got going on, man? You and about 80 other people watched the baseball game last night, I take it? Oh, Joique, you watched it too, you said, right?
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, you watched it too. So Joique, DMac, and about 81 other people in America watched it, right?
Yeah, but it went down like I thought. I mean,
what was the ratings?
We were looking. They haven't been released yet.
Yeah, I don't think they want to release them.
Yeah.
Release what?
Those TV ratings.
Those TV ratings.
Oh yeah, dude. I don't think they're very good.
Yeah, I listened to a few podcasts. They say, I don't think too many people were watching. I don't think people knew it was on.
What do you know though? That if you did watch it, you were treated to history.
The history, you were.
That's right.
I give you props, bro, because Joique brought that up. I walked in and he goes, "Hey, did you watch the baseball game? Tell him what you said."
Yeah. So no. So it was the first time in over 100 years of baseball, over 100 years, that the leadoff batter knocked one out the park. Over 100 years,
which is crazy.
You would think that this happened before. But out of 117 seasons, it's never been done in the MLB. Never.
Yeah, it's funny to me because one of the people I used to work with at Oakland that has since moved on in college athletics, we always would joke during the game if somebody was doing something, it didn't matter what it was, if it was soccer, basketball, baseball, we'd always joke and say, well, we got to go check the NCAA record book. Yeah. It's never a record. Right. Somebody's always done it before. Yeah. Always. But, it is crazy.
It's crazy. So, George Soler went out there and did what he had to do, and hey, it was a great game. I mean, he literally set the tempo for the rest of the game. And so it was a lot of things that happened throughout the game that the Astros made a lot of errors. You had, who was that, Ozzie Albies still second base. And the catcher
getting America a taco.
He got the whole America. He's a taco hero.
Yep.
He sold the base, and the catcher couldn't get the ball out of his glove. It's things like that would happen throughout the game. But, all in all, man, I enjoyed it. It took me back to the late 1900s when I would watch. I would see the Atlanta Braves in the World Series.
They haven't been there since the late 1900s. The 1999. Remember that year? Way back when?
Because we sit here, we say, over 100 years ago. Then we say 117 years ago. I'm thinking the late 1800s. Yeah. No, that's still
1904.
Yeah.
The late 1900s.
Right.
That's awesome. But did you, I'll keep it right here. You want to see toughness on a baseball player? Did you see the pitcher, Charlie Morton, for the Braves take that comeback?
Took that comeback, took it, bounced off of him, and he still ran the first base. He said, you got it. Oh, you got it.
Yeah, we got it on the YouTube channel right now.
He said, and just, not even limping. You know the saying in baseball, right? You get hit with a pitch, you get hit with a ball. The saying is, don't rub it.
Yeah.
Don't rub it.
Yeah.
Don't rub it. I mean, that's like a thing. So I remember when I played. So funny thing is, baseball was my first love. I don't know if you know that.
We talked about that, yep.
So I went to the World Series when I was a little kid. We had won states, and then we went. And so just kind of watching the Braves back in the World Series just took me back to my childhood. Like, wow, okay, yeah. Because when I played during the regular season, the Braves and the Giants were the two best teams in our league. and I played for the Giants, and the Braves will always go back and forth with the Braves, and so it was good times, man. It just took me back to my childhood.
So what's better than Little League baseball when you have the major league team names and all that? Ours was the Orioles. Those were great times.
Great. Does anybody listen? My whole point of Charlie Morton, not only is he the Game 7 guy that's won 3 games and he's won with the Astros and stuff, he continued on that game. He broke his fibula on that play and pitched 10 more pitches and didn't get what I'm saying. Charlie Morton gets Darren McCarty's, dude, you should have been a hockey player. You should have been a hockey player award last night. He gets DMac's toughness award. That is awesome.
Hey, you know what's the weird thing? That's not the only person who made history last night. Yeah.
Do tell.
So Alvarez is the number 3 designated hitter to only have multiple triples in the postseason. And I think he's the only one to do it in back-to-back games.
Well, he's the only DH in history that could make it around to third.
Yeah.
They're all big boys.
Now that I could see because of the whole National League Park thing where the pitcher's got a hit, you have limited games in an American League Park. Like that I could see not happening. The leadoff home run thing is still baffling to me. That never happened before.
Never happened.
That is crazy to me. Good for Charlie Morton, too, man. Dude's 37 years old. He never really got paid.
No.
He just was always there.
Always there, just a grinder, strike zone, and even to watch him like first inning or whatever coming out, and you don't think of Charlie Morton because he's not really built, but he's firing it in there to 97, 98. A lot of movement and stuff like this. Just a gamer. He's one of those guys that when you say you want on your roster because he's a playoff guy, practice, regular season, who cares? But he's a gamer and obviously tough as hell.
Yeah. In our YouTube chat thread, and remember, you can get involved, too, if you're following along on their YouTube channel for Woodward Sports, my guy Chuck Brewer. Baseball, I thought that season ended a few weeks ago. And look, Chuck, I think you and I are in lockstep about that because I do love baseball. I do. I like watching it. Playoff baseball is great. I equate playoff baseball to Stanley Cup playoff hockey in that I can settle in and watch any playoff game.
Here's the difference, right? If you watch the Braves and the game last night where it was 5-0 in the 4th inning, but still it's a good game. I mean, it's closer than that. You watch that all the way down to the end. And, yes, you're exactly right. You can't walk away because there's a rally in any inning. And especially with the Braves and the Astros, when you have 2 formidable offensive lineups up and down, every time you send a guy to get a bat, it's an all-star. It's not like, oh, here's an out, here's an out. How are they going to get him out?
Yeah, but, I mean, for me, though, I get it because baseball's got problems. It does. I know we're talking about the World Series and stuff like that, but the ratings are going to be down. And here's my other problem with it. Everyone always talks about Houston. When there's a new team for a new football league or a new soccer league, oh, well, you got to get a team in Houston. Houston this, Houston that. Houston as a sports town sucks. It does, man. Houston, like they force feed soccer. That's an example into the Houston area. Nobody ever goes to any of them. The MLS team, the NWSL team, all of it. They never go. They never do. They never rally around anything unless it's like the ultimate winner in Houston. But they don't get a lot of ultimate winners there.
They got Jalen Green, so you made your point there.
See, there you go. Yeah, he had a 30-point game the other night.
He's good, but you don't dog my city. Matt Cardona coming in for GCW. We called Detroit a B town, and I said it's absolutely, Matt, for a B wrestler. So come on down. There you go.
Yeah, but again, happy to have everybody along for the ride here today. We're going to talk about. We obviously certainly have to talk about Michigan State. And Mike says, Neal, you got your Go Blue shirt on. Great mojo for the big game on Saturday. Way to go, bud. No, this isn't like
Blue. That's not.
Yeah, that's not the blue.
Yeah, yeah.
That's more like
that's not
North Carolina.
Yeah, this isn't like this isn't like a fourth.
I don't even know what blue that is.
Yeah, it's like a lighter blue. It's not a fourth place in your own division.
Blue?
It's not. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not a Honolulu blue. It's not a Mason blue.
It's more of a Kentucky blue.
It's just like it's not even that. It's
I would. It's closer to Kentucky blue than any other blue. Or Buffalo.
Well, I don't know, but all I know is like this isn't a Big Ten Co-East champion blue. Like it's not that. Even though you finished tied with the team that beat you, but you still celebrate it.
Neal.
Yeah.
Big game this weekend.
There is a big game
You're
this
talking about
weekend.
the past and stuff, but what about these two teams? Maybe get back
listen,
on track to that.
I want to know for real because I want to talk about the teams. I want to talk about the coaches. I want to talk
Which we
about
are.
right. That's what I want to get into, and I have some words about just both the coaches, but more so for Mel Tucker more so than anything.
That sounds like something good enough to get into when we come back,
when we
right?
come back.
We certainly should do that. No, but we will get to that in just a couple of minutes. But Big Ten coaches' salaries, I think, are something certainly that's notable as well. I do want to take a peek at that. I always like to check in and see what's really going on. Because that's where the rubber meets the road as far as the coaches go and salaries and things like that. Sounds like James Franklin's already got one foot out the door.
He doesn't even know they're playing this weekend.
Dude, that guy's a mess, bro.
Oh, my God.
And old Penn State, James Franklin and old Penn State, every year you got to hear about them in September. This is it. And then they always play that whiteout game in September that's on ABC on the national game. And everyone talks about what a great environment this is for college football. And what do? They go lose to Iowa. Then they lose at home to Illinois because it's what Penn State is. It's what they do all the time. And you always got to hear about how they stink. And remember when they joined the Big Ten and people were like, oh, Penn State's coming to the Big Ten. Look out now. And they went to that one Rose Bowl. Have you even heard from Penn State since then?
Quit hitting them with facts. Quit hitting them with facts.
Dude, like for
Being
real,
mean,
man.
He's hating on them.
Dude,
it's not facts. He's hating on them.
And look, you guys played professional sports. You guys both know the business end of it. Joique is very locked in with the business end of everything. Joique, you change your agent to one of the power brokers in coaches' agencies like James Franklin did with Jimmy Sexton. You're not doing that because you're just going to sign an extension with Penn State, right? You want to test the waters. If you bring in a power agent midway through a season or at the beginning of a season, you got your eye on moving. You're at least considering it. Is that fair? Is that fair to say?
You know what? I will agree with you there.
Yeah.
I there's
will agree
some
with you
or
it's like it's something there.
you want
Yeah.
you need. It looks like why you bring in a new agent is because you've lost faith in what you have to perform. You don't bring them in when you're not going to negotiate, either renegotiate or negotiate a new deal. You're bringing in more heat and somebody a little bit different that doesn't know you 100%. That can maybe like. James Franklin has whatever the assets is viewed from outside. Well, whoever his agent's been might know that he can't sell it and doesn't have the trust of who he's negotiating with. So you bring it in to bring the new person in to throw the guy off who you're negotiating with. So is that USC? Is that, where is that? Is he, because he's definitely James Franklin, coach of Penn State, doesn't even know they're playing OSU this week. Thinks they're playing Michigan. And then he's got a foot out the door for sure. If not two, but the sad thing is somebody will take him.
The sad thing,
they will.
Yeah. So for me, this is what it is. So it could be what he said. You want somebody that you trust. You don't think your agent now is doing the right things, or you don't have any trust in him, or you might have outgrown your agent that you have. I mean, when I had my first agent. Loved him to death. We still keep in contact, but we parted ways because I felt like I was kind of outgrowing what he could offer to me as a client. But, it was still a great relationship. And then I moved on to the second agent, and I fired them in less than 5 days because I just, they were just horrible as far as, getting me what I needed. And I hired another agency who I've been with for the past 7-8 years, right? And so for me, it wasn't more so I knew my contract negotiation was coming up, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure I had, I had an agency that could give me everything I needed. And you know what they say, your agency, they don't work hard for you while you're playing. They work harder for you, all right, when you're retired. My agency has been there every step of the way, even after retirement. And so that's kind of the family that you want when you're dealing with, bringing in a new agent, dealing with a new agency, and making sure that they have your best interest when you're done playing at heart. So.
Or you want to get a big time job, and you want a power broker that's going to maximize. One of the two, right, Joey? One of the two.
It's both.
It is.
Both can be true.
Both can be true. On the YouTube chat thread, Juice's Goat says, here goes Neal again, living in the past. I'm not the one that hung a banner that said I was Big Ten Co-East champions. I didn't do that. Michigan did. That happened. It did. It happened, everybody. You know what else happens? A lot of sports betting going on. You want a lock? A lock is simply put a bet you can't lose. And with MyBookie, you can't lose on the NBA lock of the season. Here's what you got to do. Place a bet on either team to score between the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Nuggets. When the first bucket drops, you win. Let me put it like this. Do you remember the last time an NBA game ended in a 0-0 tie? I don't either, because it's never happened. And it's never going to happen. It doesn't get any easier than this. Superstars like Joique and Doncic are going head-to-head this Friday. And it won't take more than a minute of game time before your bet cashes. And that's not all. You're going to get paid on Friday. Obviously, they're going to score a point in that game. Wake up Saturday, throw down on UFC 267 on Saturday night. MyBookie is giving all users a $100 risk-free wager on the light heavyweight championship main event fight. So don't wait. Go to MyBookie.com right now and use the promo code Woodward. And MyBookie will instantly double your first deposit. That's promo code Woodward, so you can double your funds to double your winnings. If you've been waiting for that big-time offer to sign on with MyBookie, here it is. I'm giving it to you, folks. It's going to be a profitable weekend for you. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a gambling problem? Call the Gambling Problem Helpline, 1-800-270-7117.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Rule, Darren McCarty, Joique Bell in the house as well, sitting in the captain's chair. That's what we're going to call it, the captain's chair.
Captain's chair.
Is that fair?
I'll call it the pilot.
Pilot's chair?
The pilot's
yeah,
chair.
whatever.
I'm in the back seat, and so I'm gonna call it the pilot chair, like in the car. So I'm in the back seat. You guys are, he has shotgun. You have you're the driver.
All right, I like it. You're back there making moves, handling business.
Handling business. That's what you want to call it.
I like that. But speaking of business, business is going to be on in East Lansing this weekend. We do have to get into it. Michigan, a 4.5-point favorite as well. That line has been somewhat stagnated right now. And I get the feeling that we've seen the Michigan people come in and bet it up. And again, this is just line-wise. I think DMac, you'll see it close. I think you're going to see this close around 4, maybe 3. I think the late money's going to come in on Michigan State. Because if this thing pops up to 5, people are going to pounce on it and drive it back down.
Really, I would think
so.
Listening yesterday and stuff like that to see where the money's at, it seems like it's fairly even in Vegas, like 50-50, maybe 51-52. But do you think that the as the line goes down, you think that the money at the bell, because usually money doesn't go to Michigan, usually down to the wire. But I mean, it seems right, doesn't it? 4-point game, 4.5, 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it was going to be around that 3, because that's usually what they do, right? Is you figure the home field's worth about 4 to 5 points.
Yeah, but does anything about the going into the series as far as the visiting team being more successful in this series, does that go into it? Does the weather go into it?
And like I always say, too, you have to pay a Michigan tax in order to bet on Michigan, the same way you do with the Yankees, the same way you do with the Lakers. I mean, it's just the cost. Whoever wins the Super Bowl,
it
the
should be a
Buccaneers are there
3-point
now.
game, but doesn't it feel like a 26-23 or 24-21? Or I mean, I don't know. It's going to be. You'd think it'd be you would expect it to be a running game, right? You would expect it to be. You don't know what the weather is. The whole caveat is Cade McNamara. Is he going to come out and play the best game of his life? Are they be able to push the ball downfield? Is State gonna try to airmail 60-yard passes, to their speed guys. So
Yeah.
it plays out to be a close game. And from what I've watched all season, I would think it's, within a field goal or so. So, I mean, these two teams, to me, they mirror each other in a lot of ways. Where maybe Michigan's a little better here and State might be a little better there. But at the end of the day.
What team do you think is – so, in my eyes, MSU is going to be a better passing offense, right? Now, I think that MSU might have the better running back, but I think Michigan might have the better
running game with the duo.
With the duo, might have the better running game with the duo here in Michigan. So it's gonna be good. I mean, you have some guys who can light it up. You have Jalen, you have Jalen Nailers. He's balling right now. You got to stop him. You have Jaden Reed on the other side. He's making things happen. You have Kenneth Walker scratching the surface of a 1,000-yard season already. So you have these guys. I mean, he's 9 feet away from 1,000 yards already. So what's the game plan to stop him, right? We have the number 11 defense overall, but you're going into a game where you're going to play your biggest and most your toughest opponent yet. It can go up anyway, honestly. I'm pulling for UofM, but we're going to Cade McNamara is going to have to come. He's going to have to come out guns blazing. He's going to have to take what the defense gives him, and he's also going to have to take some shots down the field. And you're going to need your receivers to step up and make some big plays. You're just going to have to. There's no way you're going to do it with just the run game. Even though the weather is getting colder and it's turning into that time of season where it's going to turn into that pound and ground. I mean, that ground and pound. But I guess we'll see what happens.
For me, because I keep going back and forth on this game as well. I got a feeling I'm leaning towards Michigan to win the game, even though, and here's where it will be. We know what the running game is with Michigan. It's their calling card. There's no question about that. It's what they do. Yeah. I have my concerns about Cade McNamara like everybody else does. However, I'm not a guy where a lot of the Michigan fans say, well, J.J. McCarthy has to play, and if they play, Michigan's going to beat them 56-10. No, I don't think there's some magic elixir that J.J. McCarthy will come into the game and all of a sudden be – I'm trying to decide because Cade McNamara right now, I want to congratulate Cade McNamara. You know why? Because I think he's going to go on to win 7 Super Bowls in the NFL because he's the guy that Michigan fans want out. The same way they did with Tom Brady. They wanted Drew Henson to play over Tom Brady. Everybody remembers this. So I want to be the first to congratulate Cade McNamara on winning 7 Super Bowls, a multiple-time NFL MVP, because if history dictates anything, that's what it's shown. I'm joking, people. I'm having fun. I'm having some fun with it, okay?
No, you're not joking.
I'm joking around.
You're just
well, no, I mean, that stuff did happen. I was here for it.
Right.
Nobody. That's what makes me laugh. That's what makes me laugh about when you go to a Michigan game or even you see it on the road and they wear the Tom Brady Michigan jersey, which is cool. That's fine. But that's the same person that wanted Drew Henson to play all the time. It is. It is. Anybody that was here remembers that. DMac, you remember that talk.
Well, just because I'm old enough.
Right.
And stuff like that. And we were living it at the time. But, sometimes, guys, there's a saying in life, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. So I think going into this game, I think this is going to be a really competitive game. The one thing that I know with these games is that everybody's up for it. There's nobody that's not going to
punch in the mouth.
Right, and it's punch in the mouth. It's going to be physical. It's just which team will have more maturity. Which team won't let their emotions lead into penalties or stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Which one do you think is the more mature team?
Yeah, this is going to be a blue and black game. Just punch it. What we call these games when I played, we'll call them bat games. So we'll call them bat games. So are you familiar with bat games?
No, what is that?
So a bat game. So when I used to play, the whole team would get a bat. So I played for New Orleans. They'll bring the whole team. The whole team gets a bat. We'll all get a bat the day before the game, and basically it was just. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Just hit the person that's in front of you as hard as you can every play, and when the game is over, we'll look up at the scoreboard. And so this is that type of game where it's going to be who wants it more. You want to inflict as much pain as possible.
See, and Joique, that's the thing for me. Like, these teams are evenly matched. And what I talked about, I think Michigan has a running advantage. On paper, they're evenly matched.
But what about here? I'm talking about this.
What you're talking about, that favors Michigan State. That's proven. Who's the tougher team? When these teams square up, When these teams square up, who wants it more? I think
Who's
it's been
got
proven.
more gorilla?
I think it's been proven over the course of the last decade plus who wants it more, who's tougher.
Yeah, but as we all sat here and talked about, this is not the same Michigan team from before. This is going to be a great opportunity to see.
We don't know that yet.
But a little bit we do. When they had the adversity up there in Nebraska? Was that Nebraska?
Yeah.
So they had that. So they fought their way through that adversity. And now we know it a little bit, but this is going to be the game. This is going to be the toughest opponent yet. And I want to see if they got that gorilla.
And that's the thing, Joique.
We're going to see.
Michigan State.
Are we going to see?
We're going to see. No, but Michigan State has proven, though, that they have the edge in that. There's two things. There's two ancillary things that don't apply to the field that I think are both in Michigan State's favor. And this isn't being a hater. This is truly how I feel. Number one is that, Joique, that you talked about, that dog. I think Michigan State has more dog in them. And number two, in big games, Jim Harbaugh has proven to be a liability, be it refusal to make adjustments, be it refusal to do what's necessary, be it a refusal to deviate from the plan, however you want to phrase it. In big games, he struggled. Is that fair? Is that fair to say? Because the track record says so.
Yep.
Numbers don't lie. Real quick, I want to revert back a little bit. We talk about the guys who wanted Tom Brady out, how they wanted Drew Henson to play over him. My question to you, would Tom Brady be in would that be the greatest football player of all time? Would you put him in that category?
I think you certainly have to include him in that conversation. No doubt. I mean, that depends on your definition of greatest football player of all time.
What do people like? Are we going off of numbers? Are we going off of Super Bowl wins?
He's the biggest winner in the history of the NFL.
Greatest
he's a winner.
Leader, winner, stuff like this. Like if you're going to put it behind, but he's not the most athletic.
Longevity. And so
when you put the whole pie together, he's at the top.
100%.
He's at the top.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand he's a Michigan man. So you can't say we don't produce those dogs, because we got that dog here.
I know, and he did that despite the fact he had to come out of games.
Did he leave some?
Hmm?
So we got to see if he left some for the boys, right? You can't take all the dog. And we know we got a dog here from Michigan and Braylon. So there's dogs in Michigan. Yeah. Now it's like this is, as a player, when it's put up or shut up, drop the puck, kick it off, 60 minutes, let's go. All this hype, we're going to find out at the end who wants it more and who's the better team, who's coached better. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. Juice Go says.
Play.
Neal's hate is so deep, he can admit to Tom Brady. Yeah, I mean, the facts are the facts. I mean, look at his NFL career, guys. I mean, you can't. It doesn't matter where he went to school. It just humors me that arguably the greatest football player in the history of professional football was Michigan fans' second choice. I lived in this town. I grew up here. I was a kid back then, but I listened to the talk radio. I heard the calls and everybody, and you would hear it in the stadium. The boos and everything like that. You admit it. Just admit it that Michigan fans wanted Drew Henson. But that's fine. That's a side conversation. We're having some fun with it and everything like that. But I do want to continue this discussion because we are getting deep in it. What's that?
So who's the underdog this game?
Well, as it stands right now, Michigan State would be the underdog. But let me tell you who's not the underdog in the fantasy football world. That's Underdog Fantasy. The NFL season's underway, but you can still draft a new fantasy team each week on Underdog Fantasy to win cash prizes. They have, all this cool talk that they want me to say here, but let's bottom line this. You took Christian McCaffrey first overall. Your team stinks. It's a losing proposition. You're already mathematically eliminated from the fantasy football playoffs. Underdog Fantasy on your screen right there is to the rescue. Get a new fantasy team every week. Don't be pulled down by the fact that you took Christian McCaffrey first overall and now your team stinks. You can use their slick mobile app, user-friendly site. You can join a league, draft a team in minutes. Plus, the folks at Underdog Fantasy are going to help you get started with the free $10 when you sign up and make your first deposit with the promo code WSN. So you're going to get free $10 on top of your $10. And that's That's less than you paid to get in your fantasy league where you took Christian McCaffrey first and thought you were going to win, and now you stink. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com, go to the App Store, or go to the Google Play Store. Sign up, the code WSN, deposit $10. You get $10 free. Give it a spin, guys. It's $10. You're getting 20 out of it, and you can make fantasy football enjoyable again instead of having to flip on the red zone and going, God, this team stinks. So do it. Get yourself a new fantasy team. Go to Underdog Fantasy, promo code WSN.
Big D. Big D.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
Of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Off and running here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Darren McCarty, Joique Bell in the house as well. Sawyer is here in the production. But, oh, yeah, Fish is in the bowl, too. We didn't have a Fish reset. Fish, appreciate you watching Oakland soccer last night on ESPN Plus, man. Thank you. I was freezing out there.
Well, yeah, it was pretty cold last night. I saw it from my window.
Oh,
that it was cold.
It wasn't pretty cold. It was flat out
My favorite
freezing.
tweet of the night. I don't know who did it, but I get this tweet that comes across, and it's Neal responding. You think? And it's him standing there. And I apologize. Who were you doing the game with?
I was doing the game with Mitch Hildebrand, former MLS keeper
and
for
champion,
Atlanta United.
And champion.
Yeah.
So you said that, thank goodness the game stunk, but the stories were good. But you're standing out there, and you know
I
what,
was
Fish?
freezing.
Fish, these are when DMac has another saying. Better you than me. Better you than me. So all everybody thinks that Neal is so hard on the Michigan Wolverines and stuff like that. Well, you know what? Go on his Twitter and look at see how cold he was last night. You can have some solace in it. So
there you go. Yeah, absolutely. The Neal Rule hater comments are free flowing right now. I don't think I've said a lot negative. I've only stated things that have actually happened. But that's cool. Epic says, I love hater Neal. Hey, Jew says, I just want to help Neal get to the root of the pain. I want him to be able to heal. Hashtag heal Neal. I'm cool. What do you got,
Heal
Fish?
Neal.
Did you
like
hear
that.
about Kansas? Speaking of soccer, did you hear about Kansas City? They're building a NWSL soccer stadium, which is the first all-purpose or first women's purpose stadium. Is that correct?
So solely for the women's team?
Yeah, for their women's Kansas City team.
Yeah, that's cool. I called some NWSL matches before. Shout out to Carly Lloyd, by the way, for wrapping up her national team career last night. I got a chance to call a couple of her matches, called a couple of her goals. That's a pretty big soccer moment, I think. For me, it's pretty cool.
Are there going to be a lot of people that are going to go to these Kansas City games? I mean, they're spending all this money on a stadium where...
Well, it goes back to my argument earlier, right? There are teams in that league where people show out for. You know, the team in New York, Portland has huge crowds. The team in Houston, no, the crowds stink. They don't go to anything in Houston ever, be it baseball, football,
Texans?
soccer. They're not going there now because they stink too. Man, you're noticing a theme with Houston: the Rockets, the Texans. I'm just saying. No, but continuing this Michigan State, and I know Sawyer has some sound from Jim Harbaugh talking to Brad Galley from Channel 7. I'm curious to say, and I think this goes back into what DMac, because I have a point about what DMac has been saying, but Sawyer, let's run that and get the Jim Harbaugh flavor.
Is it special? It's tremendously special. How big is this game? It's huge. What's it like for us? I mean, we're ready to start practice Monday and get rolling, and get our preparation for a team that we really respect. They're playing great football up in Lansing, and it's a huge game. Boys are 7-0 in Ann Arbor, and the boys are 7-0 in East Lansing, and it's a big game.
To be a part of.
And that was Jim Harbaugh talking to Brad Galley from Channel 7. So the talk, the chatter, as DMac has really said all week, has been notably absent from Michigan. I mean, the week's not over yet, but there has been no little brother comments other than, the ex-Michigan players that have been putting the stuff out on social media, which was funny. Some of the Michigan players said we get to go to, I forget which one it was. Was it Taylor Lewan? I don't remember exactly who it was, but one of the Michigan players that was 1-4 against Michigan State tweeted out that they get to go to little brother's house this weekend. So that stuff always makes me laugh too. But you've been steadfast about this point, DMac, all year. As you said, you haven't heard the chatter from Michigan.
No, you haven't. You haven't heard it. And the thing about having that little brother, that if you take a look back into time, usually the younger brother always end up being better than the bigger brother. You look at Lonzo Ball, now look at Melo Ball.
Right.
So it's, but you got, it goes back in time with that. Now I don't know if TJ Watt's gonna be better than JJ Watt. I don't know about that, but you see what I'm going here. And so I like that Michigan's like, be quiet, just let our play speak for us. There's no reason for me to go out here and blab my mouth about the game.
That 7 years ago, where they'd be right now, if this is the key. I'm just saying, if it's the key, and Harbaugh came in quiet, I'm just saying, I like them going into this game more than ever. I was at the only game I've been to in this rivalry was the blocked punt kick. I was at
trouble with the snap.
Oh, man.
Trouble with the snap.
Yeah, so that's the thing with this game is that Michigan is going to have some adversity. They're going to have a lot of adversity in this game, whether the run game isn't working the way they want it to work initially, and they have to throw the ball. K's going to have to make some, like I said, he's going to have to make some plays. The thing that people don't understand about Cade McNamara, which one thing that I like about him, I really do like about him, that he doesn't take chances with the ball. He protects the ball. He makes good decisions. If you look at what the head coach from Northwestern said, Cade McNamara doesn't get the credit he deserves because he takes what the defense gives him. He protects the football. He makes good decisions. Now they're not big, eye poppers, but he keeps his team in a position to win the game. And that's what he's been doing, and he's a big reason why they're 7-0 right now. You look at what he's doing as far as passing. He's not up there in the passing yards, but hey, he's doing what he has to do to make it, help his team win. And you look over there at on the other side, you look at Peyton Thorne, and Peyton Thorne, I mean, he's slinging the pill right now. Like, he's slinging it. Like, he's still top 50 in passing yards right now. I think he's ranked 38th. In touchdown, he's ranked 15th with. He's ranked 21st with 15 touchdowns. So he's doing what he has to do as far as passing the ball, and he has some receivers out there making plays.
And they don't turn the ball over ever. And that's in college football especially. That's how you win.
Yeah, that's major. You have a guy who's putting up over 200 plus yards in a game.
And securing the ball.
Somebody
you can count on.
All right, so this is a game we're going to sit back and we're going to watch, and this is going to be a dogfight. This game is going to be a dogfight.
And the fans are talking about it where for Kate Cunningham, the team that's 7-0, that's another thing that really baffles me about the Michigan fan base is
McNamara.
You're 7-0. The dude never if he were playing checkers, he never moves his back row ever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you get with him. He's never going to move his back row. He's never going to make a mistake. You're never double jumping him.
Right.
Like it's just steady, and he just takes care of the football. And that's why with both of these teams, and I think, and I'm curious to hear what the fans say, and all the joking stuff aside, are we really going to know if either of these teams is really good? Because I've heard murmurs of that. Because even in our YouTube chat thread, people are saying neither one of these teams will beat Ohio State. And if you listen to the pundits around town, Ohio State's still double digits better than both of these teams.
Let's quit James Franklin jumping the gun, getting weeks ahead of us, and worried about that.
I wonder about that.
You're in a position. Can we not just enjoy the journey? The destination's an oasis. You're a human being. It's going to keep going.
You're such a free spirit,
Enjoy
DMac.
the journey where both teams are 7-0. Here's the thing that I think, though, right? Where Michigan has to keep, not this game, it's got to be one score, two score, back and forth, because
which I think it will be because they're similar.
But out of both these teams, I trust Michigan State more getting behind by a few scores, being able to air the ball out, being able to come back in short time. If Michigan gets down to 2 scores or 3 scores, I don't know, because I haven't seen it, unless they're saving, right? Can they come back? Can they air it out? State's proven it. They'll go deep all the time. So that's one thing is that we know Smash Mouth and this and that, but if somebody does capitalize on turnovers, if Michigan does have a turnover early, right, or something like this and tilts the field, couple scores, I guess the confidence as a Michigan fan to come back with the air ball and having to score some points through the air, we don't know if we can do that.
And that's the adversity I'm talking about, because we haven't been down 2 digits, 2 scores. Going into the fourth quarter, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, where we have to pass the ball. We haven't had that situation yet, and now this is going to be a game where that could be a possibility. That could truly be a possibility. But like I said, you got the Michigan defense coming in, the ranked number 11th overall in all the NCAA. We talk about those numbers and we talk about the teams they played against. They haven't played against an offense like this yet.
No, I mean, because you're looking at it too, like a couple of MAC schools, at Northwestern. Wisconsin. I mean, very offensively challenged teams.
But who was that? Nebraska. I mean, offensively, they've been averaging over 400 yards a game.
Yeah, no, Nebraska can move the football. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
So that's probably the best offense they've played.
Right.
And even with that game, they had trouble.
Right, and just like the other teams, the Northwesterns and the Wisconsins and the Rutgers, those are offensively challenged teams. Of course, a couple MAC teams as well, and then a Power 5 that lost to a non-FCS team or FBS team at home.
Can we not just enjoy this week, and then whoever wins, then we can have another week of just let them braggadocious and enjoy it for the week until D-Day when they have to play Ohio State. We all don't expect. It's sort of my question will be, and I'll save it till then, is the Michigan or Michigan State going into Ohio State, is it the equivalent to the Lions going in to the Rams last weekend? Well, we got some competitiveness out of there in a different game, but let's enjoy and see who gets the bragging rights. Until then, you know what? You might need this through the line because, I think that both lines, offense and defense in the Michigan State game, will be playing like they have CoastPortland.com machetes and lights to see the hole for both those Michigan running backs or for Kenneth Walker. It's going to be a dogfight, but for you guys, if you got a dogfight your yard, go to CoastPortland.com. Use WSN20, 20% off all your do-it-yourselfers, first responders. It's that time of the year. Leaves are coming down. Don't neglect your yard. Go to CoastPortland.com. Tell them Big D Energy Center. He's Neal Rule. He's Joique. I'm Darren McCarty. We'll be right back. Big D Sports Network.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 five-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Rule, DMac, Darren McCarty, Joique Bell in the captain's chair, the pilot's chair, whatever you want to call it. He's whole crew lounging.
Big vibes.
Yeah.
The vibes.
Hey, guys, Juice is Ghost. I appreciate, but I'm a professional with this. And you know what? I know you guys are all stressed, but that's why we changed and gave you a little bit of a different viewing pleasure today, if you can see. So you're welcome. That's to get you through the week. That's what I can do. You know what I'm talking about out there.
Some of the greats here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Some of the greats there on that board.
Greats here, greats there, everywhere.
Everywhere.
That board is complete now. It's complete.
Be great. That's how we roll, Joique.
And be good, not great. You want to be good, you want to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. You got two choices here.
No, but
we're talking Michigan State, and we focus in on Harbaugh, and I'll dive deeper into Harbaugh as the week goes on. But we do want to touch on the Mel Tucker stuff, and I know that Sawyer has a little clip on that. Mel Tucker spoke about the LSU rumors.
But speaking on touching, if you guys don't mind, just taking a second out of your day. If you're on Twitter, just go hit retweet for the show. If you're on YouTube, just go hit the like button. And if you want to subscribe, we'd love for you to subscribe. Stay tapped in with all of Woodward Sports. Big D Energy. You heard it here first.
Act like you know. That's what I'm saying. But I know Sawyer's got some sound. Mel Tucker spoke about, because this LSU thing is real too in our chat thread. So let's get into that a little bit. Here's Mel Tucker on the LSU rumors.
Your name came up in a few reports recently about LSU potentially being interested in you. I was wondering what your thoughts are on that and just kind of the timing of it coming mid-season.
Yeah, my focus is on the upcoming game versus school down the road, and that's where my concentration on my focus is, and I really appreciate you understanding that.
Come on now, Coach. You have your team, you have your players. They're getting ready for one of the biggest games of the year, one of the biggest rivalries that you guys are going to see this year. And instead of you just coming out and saying they're just rumors, none of it's true, I haven't spoken with LSU, you say, my focus is on Michigan, it's on the team down the street. I appreciate you guys understanding that. Now, if I'm a player playing for you, and I'm giving you my all, and it's a chance that you might not be here next year, I might feel some type of way. And then the way he came out and did the press conference is that, I don't think it's rumors. So why would you wait 9 days to make a statement about this? Why would you wait 9 days?
Okay, Elephant track record. Mel Tucker, agree. Do you remember where he came from?
Fair.
Colorado, where he said he was going to take, and then Michigan State offered him 3 times as much money. So he said he was never leaving. So there's always that chance. Right now, Joy, to your point, if it wasn't this week or whatever, these things are going all around. You hear Mike Tomlin this, James Franklin, all of this. So the players, I don't think they're focused to this. After it comes out of this week, maybe when you're being more successful or stuff like that. Usually when you're losing, these are the things that sort of bother. Do you have to, am I looking at the transfer portal? Is my coach leaving or stuff like this? Because if I ask you, Neal, from your track record of what we know, do I think Mel Tucker's leaving at all anytime soon? No. But do I know that he might because of his track record? If I'm going to be oblivious to that, then that would be stupid on my part. So I don't think so. I think everything he's saying, I think right now, but it's something that history has proved himself, because some people money talk, right? Money, and you can't be mad at him for that.
Well, and with this line of work, Joique, and I think this goes into what you guys did and in the coaching game as well. The money, I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong and I'm not saying that it's the only thing all the time, but the money's the scoreboard, right? I mean, the money is to some people, the money is how you keep track.
I think this is what it is. I think when you initially get into this business, for the most part, I'm not saying every, but for the most part, when you get into this business, whether it's in media, whether it's in professional sports, whether it's working in the front office, a coach or a player, and you're trying to get that bag, or you go into it with the idea of, I want to get a bag. I didn't get into this just because I love the game. You get into it because you can make a good living doing it, and you enjoy doing it. And so you look at, say, a guy like a Sean Belizean, where he's been in this industry for a long time, say on the media side, just commentating on sports and been an analysis or a broadcaster or a host of a show, of a sports show, and you get to a certain point where you say, you know what, it's not even about the money anymore, it's about where I want to be. But initially, it's about getting to that check, it's about getting to that bag. And then once you are secure financially, and then you can have the choice of where you want to be kind of mentally. Like, okay, mentally I feel better here. Like you love being at the school you're at now.
Yeah.
Right? You enjoy being out there in Oakland. And nothing's going to make you move from there unless they bring somebody.
Well, there's some things.
Yeah. Unless they bring that bag that's going to pay you what you want to, because you love being there, you love the culture there.
Right.
You built up. Now it's like an emotional tie there.
Right.
And so for most guys, that's kind of what it is.
Pay that man his money.
Yeah.
100%.
That man his money.
Teddy.
No, but Joique, I mean, for me, for my situation, I don't think it's much different. It's no secret. Like I want to get to the NBA. I want to get to professional sports regularly. I've done the professional soccer bit and everything like that. And I'm not saying this is the right take, but for me personally, pro sports is viewed as the highest level of this profession, right? Like that's what it is.
And very well it should be.
And that's where I feel, I have confidence in what I do. I feel I belong there. Now I got to get to there and all that kind of stuff. That's what drives me. But you could also say that's where the money is, because that's where it is. Just like in your world, like the NFL is where the bag is.
Yeah, that's where it was for me. It's funny because growing up in my hometown, we were a basketball city. And I just happened to be a good football player. And we had some guys go to the NBA who graduated with me. I went to the NFL. And for me, it was just like, I wanted to make it to this level just because that's what I saw growing up. And then once I got there, it's like, then I wanted the bag. I wanted the financial security, football helped me put me in that position. The NFL helped put me in that position to where, now I can do this show and enjoy doing it, and not because I have to, but because I just like doing it.
Juice has a great line here on our YouTube chat thread. He says, "This is true in any job. If you're comfortable where you are and not keeping an eye on your next job, then you're not going to increase your wealth." And that's fair to say. That's very fair to say. Now, at the same time, I had this exact conversation with an NCAA administrator, and we were chatting, and I asked him, I said, so what about the Mel Tucker stuff, the LSU stuff? And he said the reality is, if LSU wants Mel Tucker, they'll get him. No matter what you think about, when you come with the bag, if the bag is big enough, someone will go.
Well, here's the thing. The difference is you heard Mike Tomlin's comment about somebody asked about USC, and he was offended, right? He said, did somebody ask Andy Reid or John Harbaugh or Sean McVay these questions? But he said that there's a booster and USC doesn't have a big enough blank check. I believe that from Mike Tomlin, because he's established, because he's an NFL guy, because he's got more money. He doesn't seem
he's on the
Mount Rushmore. He doesn't seem like he's counting his dollar signs. He seems like he knows there's enough put away and he's taken care of. That's not important. Mel Tucker, though, college, established. You don't know. You would always think that everybody's next wants to be pro. We don't know that. Maybe some guys are college. But, Neal, to your point, everybody has a price on anything. You can never say never 99.9% of the time, but there's always a price.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the people just made something clear as day. Because now we sit here and say that LSU, if they want Mel Tucker, they'll get Mel Tucker. But don't forget, we got two of the richest guys in America who has ties to MSU.
Sure.
Right? And so we got boosters here too who can say, no. We got a guy that's worth $50 billion that can say, no, we want you to stay here. How much they gonna pay you?
If LSU decides, then they'll have to make that decision. If that's the water that they want to swim in, that's what they have to do. And Drew Hartman says MSU should not be considered a stepping stone school anymore. They can be natty championship contenders. If Mel Tucker wanted to have a true legacy in the sport, he would stay and compete instead of running for the money. But the bottom line is, and I talked about this with Terry Foster on Monday. Can you win a national title at Michigan State? The facilities. I mean, I'm talking about everything that goes into winning a national title.
Yep, you can.
I'm talking about the buy-in from the community, and you know what I mean when I say that. Things are different in Tuscaloosa and Baton Rouge than they are in East Lansing. I'll leave it at that. I'll let you figure out what that means. Things are different there. The facilities, everything that goes into it. From a university perspective, I would bet that at LSU and at Alabama, they don't care what it takes to win in football. They're going to do it. And at the expense of other things, at the university, presidents, everybody on the academic side, is there full community buy-in? Can you win a national champion? Do you understand where I'm going with this? Like a full buy-in of a university. Do you think that exists at Michigan State the same way it does in Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge or Clemson?
For basketball.
Right, but here to that question, right? You should bring up a program and be able to say just like that, right? The elite, because you bring up MSU and you think Izzo. You bring up Alabama, you think football. You bring up Duke. You bring up, if you bring up Michigan right now,
football.
If you're bringing up Michigan right now,
you think football.
you're thinking football, right?
Ohio State football. That's what it is. I think you think of USC, you think of football. These are the schools. But I see someone in a thread said on YouTube, they said that you go to USC, that's career suicide as a coach. I would say you'll have a lot of work.
Came from there.
Yeah. And look what happened. He left right before the smoke came.
Because they bought in at USC. They bought in university-wide. Everybody affiliated with it. Everybody in that community.
And they had, in my opinion, one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game in college.
I can't remember. Did he go there officially now, or did he not go there? Because he didn't get the Heisman, right? Even though I watched him walk across the stage and get it.
Yeah, he got it. No, he definitely got the Heisman. We're not going to go. We're not going to go there. It's just a bunch of crooks. Bunch of crooks. Like, they gonna take that man. But the whole world knows, like, what he did for the game, what he did for USC.
He was must-see television. I watched him all the time.
Must-see. The only time I ever went against USC, right, because USC had my favorite running back, which was Reggie Bush, and then Texas had my favorite quarterback, which was Vince Young, and everybody was going for USC, so I went against the grain. I went for Texas, and I had to be a freshman in college. I remember I was at my aunt's house. I was watching that national championship game in the Rose Bowl, and that was the game when I said, Vince Young is a monster. He was a monster. And it was one point during that game where it showed Vince Young on the sideline. They were down by, I think, 2 scores, and they were going to the fourth quarter, and it showed Vince Young on the sideline jumping up and down, doing his head like this, getting ready to go. And he was not, you didn't see not any frustration. He was very poised, very confident. It was no way he was going to lose that game. And so it was at that point, but what Reggie Bush did that entire year, and I mean, it was just amazing. It was amazing. So for them to take that away from him and not even want to have the talks of giving it back or give him credit for what he did, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. But
because I always say the same thing. I watched that man walk across the stage and get the Heisman. Like, you can't tell me it didn't happen. I watched it.
Yeah, I watched it too. We all
okay,
watched
so
we're
confirming each other right there. That's cool. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
I do enjoy that. YouTube chat thread. Michigan State went to the playoff before, so yes, a national championship is possible. Well, no, it really wasn't. I'm talking about that elite 4 to 5, because that's where we are in college football right now. You're either at that level or you're not, and it takes I think, in my opinion, a total restructuring.
Here's the absolute beauty, right? Going into this week is whatever we think or whatever else, one of these teams is going to put themselves in a position that they haven't been in to go play Ohio State and mean something. Right? You got to get to the dance or get to the game where it means something. So this is a step. So don't overlook, but one of these teams can shock the world. Right? Put yourself in the position to shock the world and do it. So I'm excited. And by the way, I was reading this thread. You got to understand. Yes, I got to go for Sparty, but that's just because of marriage, and I know what's better for me, because my one feeling is owned by the person, and you guys know I don't need that stress on me, so whatever else, but I'll be happy for whatever team next week.
Well, let me take some stress away from you too, DMac. If you're thinking about lunch today, Papa Romano's is the only play for me. The gruesome twosome special. 2 large, 1-topping pizzas, just $19.99. And guys, keep in mind, if you're watching on the YouTube channel right now, as it says right there, that offer's good through Halloween. So on Halloween, you know what you're getting pizza, guys. Let's be real about the situation. 99% of you are getting pizza on Halloween. Right there's the deal for you. Papa Romano's, 2 large, 1-topping pizzas, $19.99. Boom, dinner's done. Get the kids fed, get the costume on, collect all that candy that they got coming to them. And then, by the way, when the night is done, stick your hand back in that pizza box in the fridge. You know what it is, that little 10:30 pizza slice out of the fridge? That's magical. We all know it is, especially
wake up early in the morning.
Absolutely, especially when it's Papa Romano's. Go to paparomanos.com. Get lunch, too, while you're at it. The gruesome twosome special, good through Halloween.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. and the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Is it getting cold outside?
Yes.
It's so cold in the D.
Is it time for the cuddle season?
Cuddle.
And if you're not cuddling, you need to turn that heat on. Start a new career in the industry that's always essential, the heating and the cooling industry. To learn more today, go to northwestern.tech.edu. I'm Joique Bell. That's Neal Rule. That's DMac. And you're here, right here, with Big D Energy.
It's popping here as we roll into hour number 2 of the show. Neal Rule, Darren McCarty, captain's chairman himself, Joique Bell, fishing the bowl. Sawyer, our guy, coming strong here today, Sawyer.
Appreciate it.
No heating, no hunting gear on
Let's
today.
get that retweet on Twitter, guys.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty good.
He's gone with the Mercedes hat today.
I know,
He's
big
switching
time.
it up. Wow.
So what's up, so man? How you looking in there? What you got on today?
What I got on today? We got a nice Mercedes US Open hat. Don't
Yeah,
get it
US
confused.
Open.
I do not support Mercedes in Formula One. And then we got the Butler pullover.
Okay.
Got her up the alma mater.
Go Dogs!
You know? Yeah,
What
go
shoes you got on
Bulldogs.
today? What shoes you got on today?
I mean, we can whip them up. We got some Clark Wallabies on today.
Some Clark Wallabies?
Yeah.
Okay.
Walking through the sole, though. I need to get a new pair. I've had these for like 5 years.
Okay.
We're feeling good. We're wearing Levi jeans.
Yeah, Levi, you know.
It's a nice, trustworthy brand.
Okay.
I like to represent.
Is that who reps that brand? Is that
It's a nice, trustworthy brand.
is that Brett? Does Brett Favre? Is that Levi? Or is that?
Yeah,
No, that's
it.
Wrangler.
That's Wrangler.
Oh, it is
Wrangler.
Yeah, Dalen Hart Jr. is a Wrangler,
Yeah,
man,
Wrangler.
too. So I might have messed up with my jeans today, but
Okay.
it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
whatever.
All right, but that's our guy. So it's our first week together. We're still feeling each other out. The early returns are good. I'm a fan of Sawyer's work. He seems to be pretty tight in the game. So so far we're cool, Sawyer. You're my
Thank
guy
you.
so far.
Thank you. I appreciate
cool.
that. You know,
Yeah, he cool.
we'll try and keep it going.
He's cool though. No, but we've been talking Michigan State, and Devin says Michigan fans acting like they've done anything notable in football in recent history. I mean, that.
What, late 1900s?
It's going on 20 years, man.
Yeah.
It's going on 20 years. That's the reality. I know I'm being a hater, Devin. Maybe they won't say that you're a hater. I don't know where that goes. But we've been talking the coaching situation. We'll get into Jim Harbaugh a little bit deeper tomorrow. But the whole Mel Tucker LSU situation, it wasn't the most convincing. And I don't know what he's supposed to say. You know, I'm always very media savvy after the fact when I look at these coaches and look at what they've said and say, oh, well, he would have been better off going that after the fact.
My question is this.
What's
you
he
don't
supposed
think,
to say?
My question is, you say that, you know, after the fact you think about it, but sometimes you know the question's coming. You know it's coming. So you have time to prepare for it. So it wasn't like it just caught him off guard. This is literally 9 days after the rumors started. And so you had time to prepare on how you were going to say it, you know. Of course, we can sit here and say, listen, my focus is on Michigan. All those are rumors. Let's stay focused on the task at hand.
Let's be
That's a good way to say it. You know,
let's be realistic. They lose. What's the story next week? Oh, Mel Tucker lied.
Oh, he had
wasn't
eyes on
focused.
LSU.
Extreme. You know, like, so blow it out. You're whatever, and just like it's the way it is. You're gonna look at an angle until somebody's named as USC head coach. Somebody's always needling in this. I'm just excited that I expect. You know, I hope that we have the game that we expect, a close game. You know, something that's hard fought, and at the end of it, both teams have given everything they got, and the best team comes out on top. You know, so.
Skipper Stone says there's nothing wrong with Levi's. Damian says Brett Favre is a Wrangler guy too. I don't know that you want that brand affiliation with that guy. Do you?
I don't know. Maybe Copperfit.
Copperfit?
Well, he's got Jerry Rice too.
Yeah,
Listen,
you know,
I'm
throwing
all
a
about
click
the
and buttons.
Copperfit. I like those things, but I'm a Jerry Rice fan.
Yeah. Brett Favre, who has the NFL record for most interceptions ever, and it ain't close. You talk about records. People say there are records that'll never be broken. His interception record will never be broken.
How many?
Ever. 330-ish, around there. I mean, you got to throw 30 a year for 10 years, and then you still got to play more to beat it. That's never going to be broken.
That's a great point.
That one's never going to be broken.
Gunslinger, just empty in the chamber.
Oh, yeah, such a gunslinger. That was my favorite. And
Hey, I mean, at the same time,
he's
we
a
talk-
linebacker playing football. That's my favorite one,
You know,
too.
then you also have, you can say that too. You talk about running backs. Barry Sanders has more lost yards than any other running back in NFL history. Like, it's crazy. You never would think about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the running
Yeah,
style.
we
you
know. Lost to 3, lost to 4, lost to 2, lost to 1.
67.
76.
It's still
6 for 60. Oh,
still top 5 all time leading rushers in the NFL. Ridiculous.
DL Bark, this is a great one. DL Bark says, "I wish Michigan fired Harbaugh and hired Tucker away from MSU." You know what? Now that I'd be here for that. If they did a G move like that, I'd cash it all in. I'd go do the play-by-play job for free, and I'd wear Michigan gear all the time.
Now that's the biggest lie.
I would
find
do it
the
for
lie.
free.
Find the lie in that statement.
The free is
free.
The lie is I wouldn't do it for free.
Reduced rate. At a really reduced rate. Discount. No, you liar.
At a discount.
That would be the G move of all time. Wouldn't it?
It would be a G move, but you know you're not doing it for free, so stop it.
No, I know.
Just stop it.
I was just playing, man.
Yeah.
You know that. But no, we are talking about the Mel Tucker thing, and I know Sawyer has the list of the salaries, as far as the Big Ten coaches go, and as we take a look at this, Ryan Day sitting up there at the top. And, where Michigan State, I think, has done a much better job is you see Mel Tucker on that list, third, at $5.5 million per year. They have upped their game. The days of, as somebody said earlier in our chat thread, the days of MSU being a, quote, stepping stone job, I think are behind them. It's too bad they didn't have this attitude when Nick Saban was there. And I don't know the particulars. I'm just saying as a fan at the time that wasn't close, college football fan that wasn't close to the situation, it's unfortunate that they didn't have that same outlook then, but whatever. MSU is serious. Like you can tell they are serious about where they are right now, DMac.
No, they are, and obviously to the salary structure, whatever. It's you want to be in there to know that your guy's getting paid something that he's worth because the effort comes out. So there's accountability and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a lot of cheese in the Big Ten, and isn't that swarmy though? You looked at that list and it just says not reported. James Franklin from,
of course,
like that. Come on, man. Doesn't that just with everything that's come out of Penn State, right? For the Sandusky, all that stuff. Doesn't that seem like on brand?
100% it does. But that's Penn State. Look at what goes. Look at the stuff that's gone on in the past. I'm not being a Penn State hater. I'm just saying what the facts are.
Penn State realist, that transparency is not a big key. So, when I look at that list, it tells me that Michigan State, if I'm a fan, which I am, is they're committed, right? They made that commitment to the coach.
And you know what else jumps out at that list? Sorry, can you pop that one back up there one more time? Because someone was talking about it in the YouTube chat thread where – look at old Scott Frost up there at $5 million per year. And somebody said Scott Frost got the bag. Scott Frost, if he were to be fired without cause, would require a $20 million buyout on January 1st of 2022. And that's what I'm talking about, guys, where at LSU, Ed Orgeron won a national title 2 years ago, $17 million buyout, boom, gone. You're out. And I'm sure they negotiated that number or whatever. If Nebraska were an SEC school, Scott Frost would have been gone 3 weeks ago, and they would just scratch the check. And the administrator discussion I spoke about earlier, I asked him that. What if it is an $18 million buyout? Then you go to your mega booster and you say, we need $18 million, and you know why. And guess what you get by the close of business? An $18 million check to make the problem go away. That's what I'm talking about, the difference.
Right, and that's just that's other level stuff, but that's the reality of it, and that's why big programs can do big things,
right.
or can hide away and eliminate the problem, right? Like
fix mistakes, boom. I call it.
What are they?
Fix mistakes.
Fix mistakes, and then in the whole scheme of things, we all forget. It goes away. We forget because it's not It's not against the salary cap. It's not against it's college, right? So who's got all this pent up bad money as long as you got the booster?
We call them fixed mistakes. All right, we talk about coaches and coaches not winning and them having their assistant coaches and now the DC and the offensive coordinator, they aren't doing their jobs, and then we bring in another head coach. He doesn't get the job done, and we need some more money from the boosters to make this problem go away. At what point in time do we say, you know what, we'll pay to make this problem go away and also make you go away because you're bringing these guys in here?
Well, that was the age-old discussion that we had earlier, where I said, at what point do these athletic directors come under fire? They never do.
No.
Never do. And you know why that is, Joique? Because they fix the mistake. They have those ties. They have that connection to have somebody just wipe the slate clean for them. Because both things are true, right? Like, you're the guy that hired this bad coach and made this bad decision, but you're also the guy that has the relationships to have somebody stroke an $18 million check to make it go away.
That's true. That's true.
Let me say, Drew Hartman with the tweet of the day. Scott Frost's contrast looked like Kenny Holland did it.
I was going to get to that one.
Dude, and that is so true, right? Bad, we're talking about. But the difference is that Kenny Holland affects the Detroit Red Wings in the salary cap as they move forward. Scott Frost and the fortuitous booster doesn't.
No, yeah, absolutely. It takes one stroke of the pen to make that thing go away. Somebody said, too, Big Ten needs to step up the coaches' salaries. What are the SEC schools paying their coaches? Well, the top 10 list of highest paid coaches, obviously Nick Saban's at 1, Orgeron's 2, who they're paying to go away at the end of the year. Dan Mullen at Florida 6, Jimbo Fisher 7 at Texas A&M, Kirby Smart is 8 at Georgia. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC coaches in the top 10 as far as salary goes. And, you know, the numbers are massive, as you might imagine. Dabo Swinney's got a $48 million buyout. Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma's got a $25 million buyout. Jimbo Fisher has a $95 million buyout. I need Jimbo Fisher's agent, man.
Wait, what?
Jimbo Fisher's got a $75 million contract at Texas A&M. And what's he going to do in the S? Is he going to? You guys tell me. I know we're Big Ten centric here, and we watch Big Ten games. Do you ever see the day Jimbo Fisher is going to win a national title at Texas A&M? Do you see that? I don't.
No, that just shows you when you tell me that how much money you're dealing with. When you don't understand is that so you're dealing with that's how much money in the pot of a team that is. We're not talking Alabama. We're not talking like Clemson. We're not talking. We're the ones that are usually there. We're talking Texas A&M. And you said 75 schmills and 95 schmill buyout? Wow. That's how much money you're dealing with here. Like, that you don't understand that this swipe of the pen for $18 million.
That's part of the community. When I talk about that, that's part of the community.
That just blows you away because you can't compete with the dollar like that. When somebody can just go, 18. Oh, is it billion or million? Oh, just million? Here you go.
And I think that's the thing that people don't realize about college sports. They're pay for play. If you want to win, Joy, can you talk about this all the time? The Oregon uniforms and everything that goes into that. That's one component of it. The facilities and the LSU football facility, the athletic facility with a lazy river in it, where the kids can go to the lounge and hang out and float down the lazy river. That stuff matters too. That's part of the currency.
They should have took part of that $75 million and put it back into the facilities. That's what they should have did. I don't see why they would pay.
I don't get it with the Jimbo Fisher. There's mad love in the streets for Jimbo Fisher.
Was Ross over that? The AD there? Was Ross over that deal? Was he gave him that payday? He gave him that payday? What? Well, obviously you did. I mean, I don't see how you're paying that coach $75 million. I don't see it.
I don't either. I don't either. But you know what you can see? Woodward Sports for the Lions pregame show downtown from the second floor on the tin roof. We're broadcasting from 11 to 1 on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter outlets. That guy, Joique Bell, myself, Neal Rule. Maz will be in the house, and Jade from WRIF, as we'll be simulcasting on the Riff as well before the Lions take on the Eagles. Come on out, win great Woodward Sports prizes and more. Again, that's the pregame show from 11 to 1 at the tin roof in downtown Detroit, just about a block from Ford Field. The postgame, we run it back at the Brass Rail brought to you by Woodward Sports and Jim Beam. Also, Truly in the house as well. I look at Truly on a golf course every now and then. I'm honest about that stuff, DMac.
Listen, my boy Nick and like Salts, White Claw, Seltzer, Truly, whatever.
On the golf course when it's 90.
Today, you know what? You guys do you. You guys do you. I got my black eye. I'm good.
There you go. And, you guys do you and come down to the Lions postgame show at the Brass Rail. Stick and Anson will be broadcasting right around the 2-minute warning of the fourth quarter on all those same YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook outlets. You can come down, watch the end of the game. If you're left in disgust, you could slide by the Brass Rail, watch the end of the game there. There's an after party with a VIP area for Woodward Sports fans. There'll be pizza out there and more. The official postgame for Detroit football is at the Brass Rail.
You'll be dying to get your hands on Papa Romano's gruesome twosome. This spectacular deal gets you 2 large, 1-topping pizzas for a limited time for $19.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. On and popping here, right in the heart of the second hour of the show. Neal Rule, Joique Bell, DMac, Darren McCarty. Fish is in the bowl. Sawyer is in the production booth with his big burly beard. Just the essence of a hunting man. I'm sure he can't wait. November's just around the corner. You're going to go get it in. You said you're a small game guy, right?
Yeah, that was way, probably high school the last time I went out and did that.
Yeah?
Because, being down in Butler and Indianapolis, here in the city, and then I've just been grinding here since, so I haven't been able to get out. But
you trying to slide back out again, or what? You gonna go out again for old time's sake? What do you do? Take a 22 out there with you?
That's what I did the one time. It was me and 2 buddies. We just went out to some land, and I think it was around Holly or Fenton that was open, and you just went out there, shot some stuff, some squirrels and whatever. But I'd be down to get out there. Maybe a Big D hunting trip one of these days. Go up north.
Broadcast live from the
I know a spot. I know a couple spots.
A little satellite internet or whatnot.
Yeah, a little remote broadcast from the tree stand.
We'd have to do the show like this.
Coming around the corner, we got a big 18-pointer coming around. Be quiet. There's a big monster there.
Yeah, draw your bow, Sawyer. Draw your bow.
We could do it.
I'm just saying we could.
Do you bait? Hold up, real quick. Do you bait at all?
Bait?
Yeah. Do you bait at all?
I don't bait when I hunt, but when we fish, we bait her up.
Okay, it was a trick question because it's illegal to bait. It's illegal to bait.
Joique was trying to get you criminalized here, man. Wanted the DNR to come storming through the doors here in our Birmingham studios.
But he was too smart for it.
He knew.
I said, you bait at all? No, not really.
Only when he's hunting cougars.
Yeah. Week 1, he's already trying to get me out of here.
You got a cougar.
He'll be consistent about that. Don't worry, it's nothing personal. It's just the booth.
It's a cougar in the car.
Yeah, Khalil says he got an 8-pointer. So
you got an 8-pointer?
Yeah, that's what Khalil says.
Growing up, my grandfather would go hunting, and we'll get the trophies. They'll take the heads and put them on the trophy,
mount them or whatever,
mount them up, and we had this room, and we call it the trophy room. Basically, we had 4 deer heads in there with the antlers, and you had a 16-pointer, a 12-pointer. He had some big ones in there, and I named them. When I would sleep with them, I would sleep in that room. I'll name the deers. And at first, it was kind of freakish. It was like, I don't know. They might come alive at night, But for the most part, no, it was good times, man. And so he took me hunting a couple times. And the thing is, when you're older, you have somebody young there, you do all the gutting, and I do all the dragging. And so it was like it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris on our YouTube chat thread says it tells you how much money is going into the football program down at Texas A&M. Gregory says Texas A&M has some of the craziest facilities in all of the NCAA. And Travis said LSU has more national championships in the last 20 years than the entire Big Ten. Lots of Big Ten apologists in the chat. Well, to be fair, we're in Big Ten country here, so that's the way that it would go. But, we talked about it. Woodward Sports has you covered for Lions coverage. They will be in action this Sunday on Halloween down at Ford Field against the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, Joique, I'll go to you. Lions gonna get their first win?
Possibility. It's a lot of turmoil going on within the organization there in the Eagles organization. So this is a good time to strike and get our first win. And start to get that momentum moving forward so we can start seeing some progress in the win-loss column versus only seeing it as a moral victory. So it's about time we got our first one.
Yes.
All right, DMac's pretty simple on it.
This is the week. This is the week. I think that it comes together, and I'm excited. It'll be nice to finally, and I think it's big because this is, in my opinion, karma, everything else. They deserve to go into the bye week with their first win, so they feel good about themselves. Because again, Sawyer, this is the there it is. Oh, you got it today, Neal.
8 of 34.
Because 7, it'll be 8. It'll be 8, which means if you're going to do the math, that's 4/17 if you do it in half, right? So we're getting closer.
Just about the quarter pole, yep.
About the quarter pole. So we'll know more, but I expect the same effort, and hopefully we have better execution.
I hate to be the downer, but you guys know where I stand on this, Sawyer. I think we have it. The Lions still are on the draft clock, sitting there at number 1. I just don't want anything to change that, the draft order.
You know what, though? I don't think it's going to change any draft order, but what I think we need this one win. We don't want to go into next season not have won a game this year. Even if we win one game, I'll be happy with
Joique, you actually hardened me for this. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? You molded me in this because I had the same kind of questions remember about 3 weeks ago, I think it was the second, but it had been the Baltimore game. I don't remember. But I asked you, I said, Joique, as a player, how much of this can you take? And you looked me in the eye and you said 17 weeks. And didn't bat an eye. Said, I could take 17 weeks of this because I'm showing up again Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got me excited to where I was like, because I was starting to relent a little. I'm like, man, they need a win. But you know what? I don't. I can take it because I know at the end of the day, that's the sound that I'm waiting for, and it'll all be worth it.
Because now you've been selfish. Right now, you've been selfish.
Why,
I'm going to tell you why you've been selfish.
Okay, go ahead. Now respond.
Because right now, you're thinking about you as a person, right?
No.
You're no.
I'm thinking about my organization that I root for. That I was a season ticket holder for.
You say I can take it. You say
I can take it.
You can
I'm a
take
fan,
it.
yeah.
You can take it. You understand that. You can take it.
Well, you told me you could take it, too.
As a player, I'm coming. I never.
17 weeks
I would
worth.
never lose 17 games straight. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't do it. I don't care.
I'm not saying.
It's not gonna. But what I'm saying is, I've never been put in a position to where we came close to losing 17 games or even 16 games in the season. It's never happened in my entire career. So what I'm sitting here telling you is, we need to win this game, at least one game, because I don't want this negative. We can't be one of the only teams to have 2 years of a winless season. We've already had one. I'm not trying to have another one because that was a bad stigma. That was a bad stigma for a long time, and I'm not trying to have that.
Because I'm sure you got questions about that. I'm sure even when you played, and it was something that followed the organization around. I get that.
Yeah, I was there for that. I was here in Detroit for that season, but I wasn't playing. I was going to school at Wayne State, so I was very aware of what was going on, and I actually went to the last home game of the season when they played the Saints, and I was able to see Calvin Johnson up close and personal for the first time. I'm like, wow, this guy's a beast. Like, this guy was a monster. I was on the field watching the game, and to see how powerful his steps were, would this guy is going to be something serious, right? And so for me, I wanted to have this one win. We don't have to win anymore, but we have to get this one win. Whether it's this game, or I think we might even get 2. We go play Denver. So at the end of the day, we're going to have a high draft pick. We are. It's no way around it, right? We look at the schedule now. If you were to bring up the schedule, we have it up in the system somewhere, and I can point out where we have this game is a possibility. I had us winning this game, and I had us winning against Denver as well, and possibly winning against Denver, and then.
And you got eggs that say that they'll beat Cleveland too.
I have eggs up that's the game that we're not supposed to win.
But Joique, and look, George says in our YouTube chat thread, Neal, the players want to win, which I understand. There's the next 6 games for those of you watching on YouTube.
So I think we're going to get the Bears, all right? Because I had us splitting with the Bears. Eagles might be a game that I had us losing, but looking at how the season's turning out, they might be able to win that game. Cleveland is a game that we're not supposed to win, that I think we have an opportunity, and then the Broncos, we have an opportunity.
So you got this team who hasn't won a game yet this year, going 4-2 in the next 6 contests.
Possibility. If you
Come on, Joique.
so bring it up.
Come on, Joique. You don't really believe that.
No, bring it up. I'll let you know.
I want some of that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Where
If we
you
talk
hiding
about
that say? Whoa, what you on,
okay, we'll
bro?
see what. Watch this now. Maybe not 4, but I bet you they win 3 games.
Well, good. Vegas is 2.5. Get in that over.
Yeah.
Probably money.
Say,
money line
I'll
went
run
up.
eggs on that. They don't go 3-3 in the next 6.
I just.
Okay.
You got that?
Hey, I got eggs on that.
Sawyer?
I got eggs. I got eggs on that.
All right, we got eggs on that one. So we got eggs on the Cleveland
Can
game
you
straight
OD
up.
on eggs?
And
Can you have too many eggs? Do I have to worry about you for your diet? Is it
Listen to that,
sodium
though.
when
Neal,
you're eating
what was
like
our
a
last
dozen
egg one? What was I can't remember what our last.
don't worry.
The Indiana game being a 3-score game.
Fish writes it down.
Remember, you said that Michigan State would beat Indiana by 3 scores, and I said absolutely not.
And
no
what was
way.
it?
And I had owed you eggs from the week before, and I said let's let the eggs ride that I owe you, and you said all right, we're fair with that.
All right,
So I got even. So the books are square.
Okay.
The books are square. So we have 2 of them. We have eggs alone on Lions Cleveland, and then we have eggs on the Lions being 3-3 in their next 6.
Okay.
And Pistons playoff.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that
See,
one
that's
too.
why you got. If you just listen and say,
the
if you
Pistons
need
going to
that,
playoffs this year?
Fish
That's
has
what you
all-
said. Yeah.
We go to Fish.
You ready to?
I can't remember that.
You can
one.
buy me
Fish
2 eggs
retains
right
the
now and
fish
buy out of
bowl.
it.
Fish retains, but guys, let's be honest, because it's one thing that's most important since we're talking about football. Whether the Lions win or whether they don't, we like simple stuff, like football 5 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. As you can see, the lovely Bethany has been working so hard behind Joique today. You can walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you're getting the scalp massage just like the bald guy. We all saw it, but that's how good they take care of you. You are handsome, clean, watch any game. They got TVs in the windows. Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Why? It's wicked awesome. Big D Energy here, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm David Hall from All Financial. With historically low interest rates and 5-star service, you could pay your mortgage off faster without increasing your monthly payment. Get started now at 248-308-5000 or chat with us online. Call hallfirst.com.
Tony is a 3rd-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Happy to have you along wherever you're watching, wherever you're consuming Woodward Sports. Certainly we do appreciate that. And you know Woodward Sports has been your home for the very best high school football coverage. That rolls on. It's playoff time. And MHSA, my Fraser Ramblers are in there. Tall task against Sterling Heights Stevenson. But if you want to watch the Walled Lake Western White Lake Lakeland game, we have it for you right here on Woodward Sports on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. That's brought to you by Woodward Sports, The Prep, and Planet Fitness. We'll have it for you at 9 o'clock as we highlight the very best high school football action, the best student section, too. That's something I think that everybody, Joey and Stick, everybody does a really great job with our high school football coverage. They go in there, get in the student section, everybody's hype, and that's a great time. And that's really what I enjoy about the high school football. Just that student section and the juice is flowing. Everybody's excited for it. YouTube chat thread, Juices Go says, what are we talking about? This is the start of 10 straight wins. Fire up the limo, right, Fish? You're up against it now,
sir.
buddy.
Yeah, we're going to get 10 straight wins. There'll be some hard games in there, but overall,
hey, you know
smooth
what, Fish? It
sailing.
reminds me to this morning I got this reply tweet comment when I previewed the show from a young man named Neal Rule that said that Mass not his strong point, but if he picked Houston at 5, that means they'd have to lose one. So technically, Fish, if you're on the Neal Rule math plan, this is, you both are in the same boat. You guys might want to get in the same car.
Just gotta
undefeated. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, the track records are the same, right? With the Houston Astros and the Detroit Lions, like they're the exact same, roughly.
Sounds good.
There you go.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
There you
Hey,
go.
the Astros can't win in 5 if the Braves don't win 1, and they got 1. So
it's looking ugly and tonight's a big one because the Braves ace is on the hill. So,
but the whole momentum of everything can change.
I know it
D-Mac.
can.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
listen,
telling you right-
I know Mo.
I know you do.
I know Mo.
Vancouver
Me and
ring a
Mo
bell?
are very familiar.
Now, would it be amazing if they come back to say they play in Houston, right? Say, and something similar happens there. What happens in Atlanta? The first batter leads off with a home run.
That would be pretty crazy.
That'd be pretty crazy. For it to never happen, and happen twice in the same series.
Yeah. It would be something.
And the reason I say that is because, like how you just said, how the momentum can change like that. When George got up there to hit that first one, when he led off, that set the momentum for the rest of the game. It really did.
No, it did. You could feel it. You could feel it watching it and everything. Yeah. There's no doubt about
and
that.
From that point, they never recovered.
Chucky Houston, our YouTube chat thread, said, how come you Lions fans always talk about the draft every year? It doesn't do any good. They still stink. But, again, I'll keep going back to this because I get this question a lot. A, that's a great sound. And B, I'm not saying – well, here's the thing. The pieces are in place now where you have a guy with a draft resume for the first time in forever. This is Brad Holmes' specialty. He's the guy that's going to change this. Everybody talks about Dan Campbell, and everybody talks about Jared Goff and everything like that. The man that's going to be the savior, and I know we've heard this bit before.
Penei Sewell.
But that's part of it, though, right?
That's absolutely
That was
right.
Brad Holmes' first
Brad
pick.
Holmes,
Everybody likes it. Aleem McNeil looks like he can play.
Did you see how excited they were when they were able to snag Penei Sewell? Did you see them in that war room? Jumping up and down, running around, slapping.
Every war room's like that.
Hey, that one was a little bit more
Chargers
hype.
were like that when they took Ryan Leaf. They were.
Yeah.
Everybody's like that.
Yeah.
They should have
That's
drafted
your
Joique Bell, then they would have been doing that, man, and it would have been for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Make sure you go ahead on YouTube. Go ahead and like it on Twitter. Go ahead and retweet it. I appreciate it. We here at Big D Energy, we appreciate you guys. We do it for you guys.
Absolutely. But and again, to back it up too, real quickly, and I know that the players want to win. I understand that, and I'm not telling them not to win. Like you guys are like, oh, Neal, what's wrong with you? They got to get a win. I understand that. I'm a professional. I'm a professional about this, Joique. Like, I get it. That's your job to go win football games. That's your DNA. That's what football players do. I'm not telling them to go lay down. Go get your money. Go score 4 touchdowns. Go get Matt Flynn proved you can get a contract off 1 game. And I understand that. Go get your money. Go do your thing. I'm cool with that. However,
what year was that? 2011?
Yeah.
Actually, January 2012? Or was that?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. I know he got a $40+ million contract from it, though.
Yeah.
But anyway, though, the only currency, here's my angle with it. The only currency the Lions have available to them, because it's not wins, it's not a playoff spot, it's not any of those things. The only currency they have available to them to capitalize on right now is a draft. That's it. And the higher that pick is, the better it is for the Lions. That's it. Because that holds the most value. To where if you want to trade down, all of it. You guys know the gig. Everyone will be calling for it for them to trade down and get more picks, which I'm cool with. That's my point. That's my chair in all this, you guys. Where I'm not saying like lose as in the quarterback just fall on the ground and lose the game. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the only currency available is a higher draft pick for the Lions to obtain. That's it. That's all they can do right now. 2023, 7-34. That's where we are, guys. I'm a professional about it. That's my feeling.
No, I mean 100%, and it's building towards it. So I say it every day. Who's in charge? Who's making the decisions? And it's a process. So this is all part of the process. The process is that I hope that this team will be rewarded for all their tough luck, for all their heartbreak and stuff like this, because their effort's going to be there, and they'll be rewarded with a win going into the bye week, so that at least they can enjoy 2 weeks of feeling good.
And I think that 0-17 talk is oversold. And I know that everyone's saying, oh, you don't want that to happen. And truth be told, I don't want it to happen either. I'd rather them go 1-16 and still get the number 1 overall pick. But if that's what it means... If that's what it means for me to have 3 of the first 33 picks in the draft this year, then I'll wear that, because it's already happened before. And, yeah, do people poke fun at it? Yeah, but you know what? That's words, man. That's
well,
just
and
words.
it's like Chuck saying, yeah, we've had this in the past, but you're not. It's people. It's the person. Brad Holmes has not been building
Right.
your team before, so lose that mentality. If it's the same person picking, it's do you trust who's got the keys to all the organizations? Troy Weaver, right? And then the big thing I always say with Al Avila is the fact that it seems like AJ Hinch has his ear, right? And is behind that where he has to be because of the contract, right? If they want to keep him, he's got to put it together. So Steve Yzerman, Brad Holmes, Troy Weaver, Al Avila / AJ Hinch, I'd put those two together. That's why I believe.
Chucky Houston says, Neal, understand something. The Lions have had top draft picks in the past and haven't really done anything with them. So what makes you think that a top draft pick is going to turn the team around? Well, I would say when they've had top draft picks, Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and Ndamukong Suh, hopefully Penei Sewell. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully those guys, and in the past, they have worked out. And again, this is a whole different skill set that the Lions have had, that they have never had in that GM's chair before. A whole different skill set.
Yeah.
This is his deal. This is what Brad Holmes does. This is why he's here and he holds
This
the
is what he
keys.
specializes in. This is what he specializes in.
He built this Rams team with no first-round picks.
I'm telling you. This. Well, he had when they had Aaron Donald.
You know what I'm saying, though. Like through the lineage of the Rams, like the construction of the Rams, for the most part, they did not have first-round picks to deal with.
Right, and so, and you look at it now. They didn't have, but what they've done is they are able to take what they do have and go out and go acquire a guy, Jalen Ramsey, a Matthew Stafford, and they take these pieces and they put them on a team that they feel is just a couple pieces away of having a successful year or making a run for it. And that's exactly what they've lost one game. They're 6-1 now, and they're a shoo-in. And if you ask me, for the playoffs, and they're having a run, and I think if they have to see the Cardinals again at any point in time, it's hard to beat an NFL team once. It's even harder to beat them twice.
No question. Yeah.
It's even harder to beat them twice. So I'm excited about this team. I'm excited about the Lions and where we are. And, I'm excited about us having Brad Holmes, a guy who he specializes in evaluating college talent. That's what he does.
That's what he's here for.
That's what he's brilliant. He has a formula that not a lot of guys have, and it works for him.
Chuck says our first rounders in general aren't the problem. It's the 3rd through 7 rounders that they always mess up on. And again, that's even his more specialized skill set.
Exactly.
Find the Cooper Kupps, man. And that's what he did before, and it's the only card we got to play. Yeah. And that's my thing. This is my overriding message with all of this. Brad Holmes holds the key to success for the Lions. It's not Dan Campbell, coach. We're not to that part yet. We're not to that part where the coach is the difference maker. We're not to that part yet.
Our coach is still learning and growing with our players. So here's the thing. I like what Juice said. He says, I have hope, but I got diabetes. I can't drink the Kool-Aid anymore. And guys,
that's fair.
So here's fair. For all of us jaded Lions fans, whatever, our Kool-Aid is water. Okay, until Uncle Neal tells us when we're in that aspect, when we're saying, hey, Dan Campbell, coach this because Brad Holmes is helping to put in place. Our coach is learning how to be an NFL coach, along with the players learning to be NFL players. So as long as you see there's progress, that's where we're at.
It is progress. You look at it. So you look at the grand scheme of things. When we talk, and people try to and understand, I'm not comparing Matthew Stafford to Jared Goff. I'm not doing that. But what I am doing is talking about how you're able to make certain plays with certain quarterbacks, and some quarterbacks just can't make those particular plays. So I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just analyzing what I see. And so when you look at, you talk about Brad Holmes going out there and getting the Cooper Kupp, right? You got to get this guy who his best season. I think he had 96 receptions, 1,100 yards. I think it might have been 1,114 yards receiving, and that's his best year. And those years were with Jared Goff. You turn around now with Matthew Stafford. He has 56 catches halfway through the season, not even halfway through yet. 56. He's already right under 900 yards receiving, looking to surpass that number by double.
Wow.
Not by double, but 600-700 yards, right? And so he's right there now. And we talk about how Jared Goff doesn't have any receivers here. And, it's not fair to compare the two, which I'm not comparing, I'm just analyzing. You know, he had a Kenny Golladay, he had a Marvin Jones. You look at these guys now, and they're averaging 56 yards a game. Come on now. So, you know, did Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay, did they make Matthew Stafford, or did they look better because they had a Matthew Stafford pass it to him? We talked about it yesterday. We're talking about it right now. I mean, people in the chat, let's talk about it. What do you guys feel? Because I think, what they're able to do over there at the Rams, they're making smart moves, but at the same time, their smart move was a smart move for us as well. And they always say when you have two parties leaving the table happy, that's a good deal. When you have two parties leaving the table unhappy, that's a good deal. And so you let me know what you think about it.
No, and that's where it is, you know, for this Lions team. And the early returns, again, and Aleem McNeil, the early returns seem to be good. Joique was hurt. He's coming on. He's playing some now. That's 3 picks in just the last draft alone. And remember, too, guys, everything's not going to be handled in the next draft either. That's why the 2023 bandwagon's in. Guys, this is a mess, man.
6 games next year. You know, because I projected us having 4 wins with the best outcome being 6. So if we get 4 wins this year, next year I want to see about 7 to 8. And then the year after that.
That's too big of a jump, Joique. That's too big of a jump.
That's too big of a jump. Get a 1 win first. Then we'll worry about the 2.
Hold on. Too big of a jump for 4 games this year? Or going from winning 4 games this year to next year?
It's too big of a jump to assume 4 when they ain't winning 4 games this year, number 1. And then number 2, 7 to 8 next year. It's not realistic either, man.
Why is it not realistic?
Because
it's been done.
What are you going to do? How are you going to fix the quarterback? You said it yourself, like the quarterback plays less than. You said it yourself. We got it on tape.
Yeah.
So you're not going to fix that.
We got that on tape, and we got this play on tape. I'm just going off what I see.
Absolutely, which I agree with you 1,000,000%. As I always say, Joique, I'll break the tape with you anytime you want to break the tape. You know, I tell people that all the time. Like, how can you come to that conclusion? Let's watch the tape. Pop that. That's my Aiden Hutchinson argument right now from the Nebraska game when Pro Football Focus said he was the best defensive player in America. Sit down and watch that tape. I'll be happy to do that. Happy to do that. Would love it. And you're like, oh, well, you don't know football. You weren't a player. Just, you watch it then, and you tell me. But anyway, with all that being said, how are you going to fix the quarterback situation? You ain't fixing that next year, especially to the tune of getting 8 wins all of a sudden. What are you going to do for the wide receiver spot? Who's going to play linebacker? You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at the defensive secondary. 3 of the first 33 picks in the draft this year. 3 of the first 37 picks in the draft next year. That's 6. You need 4 starters out of just those picks. Plus, you need a couple later on. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is an overhaul, man.
Yeah.
An overhaul.
Right, so we're building the draft, but now I don't want you to get sidetracked because it's not. We're going to rebuild the team through the draft as far as the foundation, but we're going to need some veterans coming in here. We're going to need some good free agents coming in here. We're going to need it.
Yeah, but the time's not right for that yet. We're not doing that in the offseason.
I hear what you're saying, but the foundation is going to be there. But you're not winning a championship with young guys. You're going to need some veterans to come in and help move these young guys along. Because, like I said, you're not going to learn everything you need to know by just talking to your coach. You need those guys out there that's been out there on the field.
And that's fair.
You need those guys. And so until we have a good balance between both of the two.
2023, baby. 2023, Joique.
For what? Playoffs?
Not for playoffs. To be in that spot where you're talking about, we say, all right, we got the foundation. Let's start filling in the pieces, much like the Cincinnati Bengals, where they are right now, where they have Joe Burrow and they have Jamar Chase for $17 million a year combined for the next 3 years, and $60 million in cap space after next season. That their time is now. They're at that stop in the highway, where if they have offensive line questions, which they do, boom, you go to the market. And you get the best offensive tackle. Speaking of the market, take your insurance needs to the market with Legacy Partners Insurance. Look, when you guys buy or watch the games, you're bombarded by insurance ads that say they're going to save you money. But if you really want to save money, on your screen, if you're watching on YouTube, Legacy Partners Insurance, that's the key. We talk about free agency. We talk about the markets. They're going to take your insurance needs to the free agency market and shop it around and get the best offer. 7 to 10 different carriers. Think about it that way. Your insurance needs right now are a star wide receiver. Go get the best contract you can get. save the most money you can. Legacy Partners Insurance can help you do that. Go to legacypartnersins.com. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Get a quote. They'll put you in a drawing for a $50 gift card. It's just that simple. You don't need to do anything. Just get a quote. Even if you think you're happy with your insurance situation right now, go find out if that's really the case. Are you sitting there looking up insurance rates? I'm not. Let the pros handle it. Legacy Partners Insurance. Again, that's legacypartnersins.com/Woodward, or call them 586-209-4106. Find out if you're leaving money on the table. Legacy Partners Insurance.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Back at it here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network coming down the stretch. Final couple segments of the show. Red Wings back in action tonight at LCA. Washington Capitals in town.
No, they're in Washington.
Or, I'm sorry. My bad.
Washington They're in the
tonight.
Capitol.
They're in the nation's capital.
I told all the young kids to go to the Smithsonian, check it out, get your history lesson. We always like it. But, yeah, going to face Anthony Mantha and Ovi tonight and playing in Washington, and hopefully they can build on that on the game in Chicago this weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. But
obviously, Washington, who's recently won the Cup in the last 3 years, but they're sort of long in the tooth, so this is a good test game early in the season.
And there is something to that, right? There's something to be pulled out of that where for this Red Wings team, another one of those, I don't want to say measuring stick games because then you get caught up in the outcome, and if they win, they've arrived and all that kind of stuff. My point with it, DMac, is more along the lines of going against Washington on the road and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't want to see a repeat of what you saw in Montreal. And this is the nature, and I want to ask you this, DMac. When the Red Wings were coming up, when you came in, you know, as a young buck, as a rookie and all that stuff, the Red Wings were kind of already trending on their trajectory where they were going. There's a process to learn to winning on the road, right? Because it's hard to win on the road at any sport.
Oh, yeah, there always is. And the adage that we had back in the day was you want to win, 75% of your home games and 5,500 on the road. That's a successful team. But, in any pro sports, and because of the travel, because of preparing your body as you get older, but when you learn together, you know what it takes. And sometimes it's easier. On the road, less expectation, less fans, less family, less different things. You just focus on playing. You're hanging out with the guys, stuff like this. So, you know what the good test is. It's a big test. So it'll be a good one tonight, and we'll see where they're at. So, early in the season, they're measuring sticks, right? They're not end-all, be-alls. Doesn't mean anything except it's a measuring stick to see where your team's at.
Yeah, and that's, again, because Joique's fired up about this Red Wings team, man. He's all in. He's at the games. He's eating pizza on the big screen.
I'm telling you.
Joique Bell's in those streets as far as hockey goes.
I got to go to a game with DMac, because DMac is like the mayor there.
Isn't he a legend, bro? You can't even talk to DMac.
You can't talk to DMac. I tapped DMac, and DMac didn't break character when he was on the house.
He just shook your hand and said, hey, it's great to see you.
He didn't, he didn't know who it was. He didn't even. So I tapped, so he was doing a show with Daniela.
It was like doing this, and we're on live, and then I got this guy yanking on me, and
I didn't yank him. He's on live.
I'm like, okay, it's got to be somebody that knows me, because you know better to do that. So after I looked over and I see this, and the smile, right? You just see the smile. That's the whole thing. So we got a good picture and stuff like that. But
it was okay picture. He didn't put the flash on. He didn't put the flash on. I was so dark on there.
Listen, you can't. That's why I don't take pictures. That's why that is not my responsibility. He said that's the first thing he said. He's giving me, bro. He's giving me lecture on my camera phone.
Yeah,
Joique, at least you got a picture with him. He acted like he didn't even know him. He called security on me.
He did?
Oh, yeah, dude.
I probably did the same thing. Good job, D-Mac.
He was like, man.
Yeah.
Get this guy out.
No, because you know what? Because funny thing is, he was behind the guy that they were presenting the jersey from the Army for the service, and then he did that, and then he sat down for a second, and then I went in by the concession to link up with Brooke. I saw Brooke there. Me and Brooke linked up for a second. Me and her got a picture together, and then fast forward, I'm walking to go meet up with Ronnie Illich, and I run into DMac. He's doing an interview out there in the concourse. I'm saying, look at this guy, just everywhere, every which way. And so he's the governor.
It's a small city. Joe Louis Arena was a lot easier to maneuver around. There's only so many places. The Little Caesars has got to be every which way, and you know, a little caveat. Personally, that's the thing that you miss the most about LCA is I could walk in blindfolded, and if I went right or left from the park and I knew I could name everybody, high five, this, that, whether you worked there, everything to that. It was a process. Here, there's, you know, obviously times went on, but some of the people, it's taken a while to figure out where they are, but I'm getting her down.
Yeah, it's good because, like, you run into people, so usually when I come up, I park, probably in the players' parking, come up. You know, I'll see Mickey. Mickey's a nice young lady who always scans a ticket. She's always at the front, say hi to everybody, walk up, and then it's just like you kind of know everybody. And at Ford Field, you have guys that always sit in front of the locker room as you're coming in, as you're coming out, and it's like you just always good to see that familiar face. And you miss that about the game when you leave. Not only like the playing in the game, but like the people that are there who, you know, you kind of build a relationship with over time.
Well, it is. You know what? And you know what? It's almost like they're the stadium guardians, right?
Yeah,
the stadium guardians. Just like Guardian Alarm gets it. Good defense on and off the field. Helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring, sort of like being at Ford Field, LCA, Joe Louis Arena back today. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock doors. So pay attention. Call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call that today. That's 800.
Stay out. Get away from my house.
Get away from the house. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe. It's hooked up to the fishbowl. You should do it too. Woodward Sports Network. Big D Energy. We'll be right back. Final segment here. Woodward Sports Network.
Dying to get your hands on Papa Romano's gruesome twosome. This spectacular deal gets you 2 large one-topping pizzas for a limited time for $19.99. Order now at paparomanos.com.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Rule. Joique Bell in the house. DMac, Darren McCarty here as well. You heard Fish, the national spokesman for Guardian Alarm. And, of course, Sawyer in the building. Also, Woodward Sports will be in East Lansing this Saturday. Pre-game show live on Woodward Sports. Brought to you by Woodward Sports and Gypsy Vodka. We'll be live out there at Hopcat in East Lansing. There'll be Bloody Mary specials. My favorite, but nothing beats a Bloody Mary in the morning, man. Nothing. Especially you got a pickle, a couple olives in there.
You know what beats that in the morning? A nice vegan protein shake.
Those
you
are
know
good
what beats
too.
that in the morning? A nice eighth of DMac's brand wellness.
We've all got our things, folks. We've all got our things that make a great morning. But we'll be live at Hopcat in East Lansing. Bloody Mary specials, giveaways, and more. Come pregame with Woodward Sports this Saturday in East Lansing, Michigan. Michigan State, the battle for the Bunyan Trophy is on. You see it here, right there on the right there on the desk.
Where's Blue?
Fish put it out there.
Where's Blue? Isn't his ox Blue?
I don't know.
His big ox. Paul Bunyan's big ox, right? Right, exactly. Hey, Sawyer, can we get the Tom Sawyer beginning of it? So every time Neal says Sawyer, they plays the Monday Warrior, mean stride.
Yeah, we do. We got to get some sound in the system for Sawyer. There's no doubt about it. We'll get it figured out.
We got to get some bass when we come back from break. We got to get like a little hip hop vibe, you know, a little bit too, a little bass. You know,
I support that.
I'm all for it.
Get a little bass drops in there. Yeah,
Listen,
absolutely.
settle down. Machiavelli sucks to go. Exactly. What do you think we're leaving it to here? And obviously, we'll get to it because we got 7 minutes left. But go ahead, Neal.
Yeah, the Chicago Blackhawks general manager Stan Bowman announced Tuesday he was stepping down following an independent investigation into the team's handling of a 2010 sexual assault allegation against a former host, a former coach. And DMac, he's been the GM for about 12 years, and he said that his, quote, continued participation will be a distraction, unquote, for the team. And, DMac just kind of bringing everybody up to speed with what goes on and really what's come out about that. It's too late in my eyes, but I'm glad to see that this is coming to light. I am.
Well, it absolutely is too late because we're talking 10 years ago. And if you want to see that there was, and I'm looking it up, John McDonough, who is a famous, he's famous in Chicago as a sort of a president, general. He was with the Cubs and stuff like this. And he came over to help the Chicago Blackhawks, and he stepped down right around this time. Stan Bowman was put in there. The big issue is what the coach or the video guy were allegations of either sexual assault on a player that wasn't reported. And the big issue is, here's the big issue, is because this was sort of put under the rug, and calling a spade is do the math. Why? Wasn't Chicago winning cups at this time?
Yes,
so when
were.
you're right, that's just the way society, and it doesn't go about whatever your name is, whatever. It's about right or wrong. And the problem is that this person was let go, given whatever, but there was no investigation. So the person that, I don't know the name, but he was hired at a high school in Michigan, and he assaulted the same way a high schooler, right? Who's now 10 years later is an adult and stuff like this. But you see how the trickle-down effect. So the fact is, that's why you got to nail these things in the bud when they happen. And the fact is that there's more to be handling. Gary Bettman's going to talk with Joel Quenneville and Kevin Cheveldayoff, who were with the organization. Taves and Kane were there. I know that other guys. My whole point is that if something went on and it was in the dressing room, in a hockey locker room, you're going to hear about it. There's nothing. You spend more time in your life, like if something like this goes on. Grateful to say is that's why I'm proud of our organization or whatever like this when things have happened. Yeah, we've had guys like myself with their certain personal issues and stuff like this, but it's always been something that we tried to get in front of and work out. This sucks for everybody involved, the game, and I don't care that it's Stan Bowman, who I met Stan a few times. I don't have a relationship with him. I have a relationship with his dad. And the fact is, it just sucks. You said it's too late, but at least that now we start getting things done. Maybe this is an incentive for the NFL and Goodell to do some due diligence with what the hell mess they got going on there, whether it's Washington, whether it's Gruden, whether it's this, that, everything else. So it is where we're at. But it's not done being talked about. But it's the repercussions, because you could have prevented a young kid from being assaulted, right? That's what it is because this guy, there was no track record, no red flag, no sexual, nothing like that. And you brought up the point, and I'm not going to, but I look at the time frame. Winning cures a lot of things, but it also, too, rubs a couple things under the rug.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bowman, the quote from Bowman was, "I learned this year that the inappropriate behavior involved a serious allegation of sexual assault. I relied on the direction of my superior that he would take appropriate action. Looking back, now knowing he did not handle the matter properly, I regret assuming he would do so." That bothers me to hear him say that, because you know what that means. I'm just trying to, it wasn't me. It wasn't me that did it. I ran this up the ladder. No, you know what, dude? This is the same thing with the Penn State stuff, with all of it. When you know, and this is just
run
me as
it
a
up
person,
the ladder and follow up. But there's no fight. You run it up the ladder to somebody else, and then it's like, did you do something? Or if not, then you got to blow the horn. And a lot of times, too, it goes into who's in power. And a lot of the times when you're looking to the play, and I'm going to look back, this is 10 years ago, young guys, young teams sort of coming into it, but that's where you need the responsibility of the elders, and it's not just the players, but the organization to report this and snap this in the butt.
Yeah, and it's easy to say when you're sitting like in a different chair, but the bottom line is when you run it to your superiors, nothing gets done. then as you said, DMac, then you got to blow the whistle, dude.
I mean, in
you
hockey's-
just do. And I don't care. I don't care about the winning. I don't care about the cups, the contracts, the money, none of that stuff. Because for me, I couldn't live like that.
You know, here's the whole
couldn't
thing.
live like that
Here's
knowing
the,
that.
Right. Here's the whole thing, too. The biggest scandal or whatever was Graham James, right? Graham James in hockey, and my former teammate and good friend Sheldon Kennedy was part of that with Thurin Fleury and assaulted, you know, in their days like that. And the whole thing, what Sheldon says and us in recovery is that I'll go through the pain of whatever this and talking about it so it doesn't happen again. But when it does happen again, when there is plausible, you know, there's accountability. And it's 2021, so the transparency that hopefully there's accountability, and this will bleed all over through society because it's not right. And this is what happens when you allow it. Karma's real. The truth will come out. What did you say earlier? Cancel culture. There's no such thing as cancel culture if you do the right thing.
There you go.
What did you tell? What was the quote you said earlier?
I said I was waiting because you always have to fumigate before you go in the comments, Joique. You know that you got to fumigate sometimes before you go in the comments. And I'm waiting for that one to say, "Why is he getting canceled?" Like, keep that same energy, bro. Like the cancel culture people and all that stuff. Keep that same energy about this. Please do that. I want to see that. I want to see what kind of person you are to come out there and say, "Oh, well, this happened to." No, bro. The clock's always running. It's always running, dude.
Always.
That's
Gang,
what it
gang.
is. No, the clock's always running here. Appreciate everybody contributing to the show. Be back at it again tomorrow. Big
Pucking
D
with
Energy.
DMac tomorrow. Mo Sider. Stay
Pucking
tuned.
with DMac.
Pucking around.
Gang, gang.
Well, see you later.
Peace.
Big D.